Okay, so welcome to the Accountants Mentorship Program, and with your own coach and mentor, Samuel Ivanda. I want to appreciate the fact that you chose to be part of this mentorship. It's one of the most important decisions that I want to tell you that you've made for your career. Being able to invest in yourself, being able to look out for somebody who can be able to help you in your situation. So I would love, since this is our first session, I would love us to know maybe just a little introduction of each other, just basically to know who we are, because we know that this is a beginning point of knowing each other, and also it's a ground for us to network as part of this program. So I want to ask you to use the chat box. We shall use the chat box. Basically, in the chat box, indicate your full name, the organization you're working for, your current position, and any expectation that you expect for this program. So we are going to use the chat box. So your name, your full name, the organization you're working for, the position, and then your expectation. So we're going to use the next few minutes to use the chat box. That is just to help me understand who you are, and to be able to also know more about your expectations, especially for this program. Okay, so I hope that is much clearer. So let's do that in the next few minutes. Please just use the chat box, very quick, and we should be able to start. Okay, thank you. As you do, right, I want to, of course, use this opportunity also to introduce myself as well. Myself, I'll use the microphone. I want to say that my name is Samuel Ivanda. I know most of you have read my profile. I know you could also have read about my articles and the work that I do. Basically, I'm also an accountant, like most of you. I finished my bachelor's degree, I think I graduated in 2015, and I started my CPA immediately after, even before graduation, and I was able to get my CPA in 2017. Yeah, so yes, but my career-wise, of course, I started work as an intern and was able to grow to become. I worked as in a local consultancy firm. It's called Imprint Uganda, and that was for about I think I ended as an intern, and later was actually promoted to become an accountant. And after being an accountant, I now moved to another organization, which is called Alliance One International, where I was an accounts assistant, payables. Yeah. So I was also there for like a year and maybe 1 month. Then I moved to work with Vodafone. Vodafone, it was a telecom company that I think just closed their Uganda operations in around 2017. Yeah, around 2017, they moved back to UK. And I also, from there, before even it closed, I left Vodafone and now moved to Save the Children International, where I'm working as, of course, I'm working as a finance lead, financial finance lead. But previously, I was an accountant. I entered as an accountant in that organization. And along the way, I was able to grow to become a finance manager. That took me about 1 year and a half. And then later on, after 2 years, I was able to be elevated to the next position. I want to say that, of course, I look out for even more growth ahead of me. And one of the things that I've decided to do is one of these programs is to come and empower you, come and of course share with you what I think can also help you to be able to grow. Okay, so thank you for the introductions that are coming through. Andrew Aliguma says she works for New Frontier Technology Consults Limited. He works as an assistant accountant. Okay, Andrew, glad to have you part of this. Jen Kafura works with Kisizi Hospital as an accountant. Okay, glad to have you, Jen, on this program, and glad to learn about you working with the Kisizi Hospital. So we also have Ochora Morin, who is currently working as a branch operations manager with Sports Bank, but would like to tailor my career to accounting. That is why I'm here. Okay, good to learn about that. I believe that once we have these introductions, it is even helping us to know more about the people that we have, and also it will help me tailor my message. Okay, and see how to, because one of the things that I always want to do, especially for coaching sessions, is because I don't want to come and give you a PowerPoint, but I want to have a session where I'm actually providing value that relates well with your scenario, with your situation. Okay, this is a group mentorship, it's a group coaching session to help you grow. Okay, so it's much more tailored, and that is why I would love to know the people that I'm really talking to. So use the chat box to introduce yourself so I can know about you. In case maybe you're not part of the live session and you're watching this as a replay, I would also love to know more about you. Maybe you can be able to reach out to me with the same things. So basically, I'm looking forward to your name, where you're working, your position, and any kind of expectation. Okay. Good evening, team. I'm Zaida Ziada Namilim, a regional finance and administration officer at TPO. Okay, my expectation is earning a side income as an accountant. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so let this come through as we try to see. I see several kind of expectations, and one of the things that I want to really promise you is that, of course, the reason why I made this basically 100% accountants. I usually do general programs, but this time I felt like I needed a more tailored. We needed to be able to speak the same language with the people that are listening in, the people that are also being part of the program, because I want to be able to help you as well. Now, as we saw on our program, which I shared earlier on, basically, when it comes to our program, remember, if you saw the program, just to share. So if you saw the program, basically what I said is that I want us, by the end of this mentorship session, I want us to be able to know how to create a winning CV for an accounting job. Basically, I'm going to look at your CVs. Some of you have already shared your CVs with me. And those others that have not shared, I will you also share along the way, so that we're able to go through some of this kind of information. Okay, and then of course the other is I want also us to dig deep into this aspect of interviews. Okay, the aspect of interviews, especially for high accounting jobs as well. And then at the end of this session, I also want us to be able to refine our professional LinkedIn profiles. Okay, our professional LinkedIn profiles to be able to attract recruiters. I'm a person who has been able to recruit several recruiters through LinkedIn, and I'll be able to show you some of these things. I know sometimes when I say these things, people think like this is something that's not possible, and but it's something that's possible. I actually one time got I actually got a job through LinkedIn, went through the processes, even went to the hiring stage where I was given a contract. This was really a very good contract, Yeah, but I later didn't really take it. Some opportunities come, and some of them when I get to learn more about what is there in terms of the conditions and whatever the person is giving, I'm like, I think this is not something for me. Okay. So it's the same thing for you as well, that you'll be able to learn through this session to be able to make critical decisions about your career, when to move and when to basically remain around, and see how you can tap into the internal growth of the organization. Of course, other is the how to earn a promotion. I believe everyone really yearns to be promoted, and not only be promoted once, but to be promoted over and again. Okay, it is something that we should all desire to make sure that we are achieving. Okay, and then of course the other is to earn a side income. Okay, now some of you that follow me very well know very well that I'm an evangelist for earning a side income. And why this is important, why it's important for us to think about an alternative source of income, is that the economy has really changed. And today you have that job, the next day the job is gone. Or today you have that job, but even the job does not give you the amount of money that you're really interested in. Okay, so we want to dig deep into the subject of how you can use your knowledge. Myself, I want to tell you that I currently have over 5 clients that I'm supporting. Okay, in areas of accounting and taxes, and these are some of clients who give me money, some on monthly basis, some of course, some based on the work that I do. Okay, but it is something that gives me an amount of money in addition to the amount of money that I'm earning from my job. And then also, one of the things that I love with the accounting profession is that the opportunities are immense. Even when you're working, for example, in the bank, like somebody here, you may find that there are actually other ways you can actually use your skills. If your job is not giving you that ground to use your skills, you can actually find somewhere else to actually use your skills. Okay, yeah. So part of the introductions, we have Monica. Monica is working for Human and Inclusion as a country finance officer. Okay, and her expectations is how to position herself for promotion and also around the side income. Okay. Benjamin Odongo says he's a senior assistant accountant with Kapchora District Local Government. He graduated with CPA in 2018. He is interested in growing his career as a professional accountant. Okay. And we have Colson, who is on CPA level 2, who is currently working as an accounts assistant with Shuku Sako in Shema district. Is interested in building his career as an accountant. Okay, so those are the ones that have come through. Make sure that if you've not yet included yours, make sure you include that even as we proceed along. Like I said, at the end of the day, we all need to know each other. We need to know the people that we have on the call, and we need to know the people that we are working with, so that we help them. We create a tailored message in exactly that. Okay. Now, basically for today, because we have 2 days, of course, one of the things that I also plan is that along the way, we will have the WhatsApp group I've added you to. We will run it for the next 1 month. Okay, and that is just how I do my things. We'll have that WhatsApp group for the next 1 month, and that WhatsApp group is available for you to have anything that you would want to, let's say maybe that may not have been picked up here, or anything that you may try out after this session. today I want us to look at two things. I want actually I think we because we will combine some items so that we're able to go through these two. So now, before we get into the two subjects for today, I want to bring to your attention, of course, certain things that you need to have in mind. I think some of you have seen my article, the one I just wrote today, and maybe you've read other articles that I've really shared, okay? Now, you're part of this mentorship session for different aspirations, but I believe that you have an accountant profile and you want to grow in that career. Now, career growth is not limited to age. Career growth is not limited to age, and no matter your age, it can as soon as you start, as soon as you start on your journey, then you know that you've made progress. Starting itself is just making the progress. And one of the things that also you also need to know is that career growth is intentional. Career growth is intentional. Why do I say it's intentional? Is that it doesn't just wake up a day and you're the branch manager. It doesn't wake up the other day and you're the finance manager, or you're the finance director, or a finance lead like myself. It is something that is intentional, okay? And when you're intentional about your career growth, definitely why career growth is very important, of course, is you want to make sure, we have limited time in our careers. You averagely work for, let's say, 20 years, okay? Averagely, about 20 years. Some people go to 30 years, okay? Maybe they join the employment around maybe 25 and they work for the next 30 years, so they retire maybe at 55, okay? But the average time you have in employment is 20 years, okay? 20 years, and that is on condition that you're constantly employed, because along the way there, you can have a gap of, let's say, 2 or 3 years, even 5 years, okay? That means you remain with, let's say, 15 years, okay? Now, one of the things that you get to realize is that if you don't intentionally create the right career growth for yourself, then you find yourself that you reach a given age where you're still a junior. Of course, this I'm saying it's not for people who are already at a later stage and are still juniors. You may forgive me, but you reach, let's say you've spent 10 years in the profession and you're still an accounts assistant, or you still, let's say maybe an accountant, or you still a finance officer that is at a given level. Now, one of the things, of course, we also need to understand is that being called the word finance officer does not mean you the lowest person, okay, in the career, or being called an accountant. You can find an organization where somebody's an accountant, maybe they're principal accountant, or they are an accountant, but they are somewhere, okay? Financial accountant, they are somewhere. So depending, of course, when it comes to career growth, for somebody to say that I'm growing in my career, it means that, one, more responsibilities are being given to you as an individual. It is coming with a better salary. It is also coming with a degree of delegation and decision making that you're making on behalf of the organization. It is coming with several things, of course, benefits, okay? The benefits as well have to be able to. So one of the things that I really think, especially within for any accountants that are either starting their careers or are already there, the things that you have to have in mind is that you in an organization, currently, most of you are employed. I've not seen anyone who is not employed. But if you're in an organization already, okay, two things that you should be looking out for. You should be looking out for either, of course, either growing by finding another position, like maybe the next position ahead of you. The other thing that you should also be looking at is to better your pay. And then the other thing that you should also be looking at is your skills development. Okay, three things: better pay, career growth, taking on the next level. Then the other is your skills development. Now, why I'll start with skills development. Why skills development is very key for you as an individual is that once you develop your skills, it can actually create a path for you being able to get the extra pay and also to get the increment. Okay, if you're listening in to this, I would love that if you have a pen and paper or a notebook, you try to write some of these things, okay? Because after this session, you have many things that may occupy you, so you may not be able to tap into this. And for this, what you're doing mostly, you're doing the listening, okay? You're doing the listening, so you want to note some of the things. And some of these things that I'm saying, as you note them down, yours should be to reflect on what am I going to do going forward, okay? What am I going to do going forward? So that is pretty important. So make sure that you get a notebook and you also get a pen to be able to record some of this kind of information, because I believe it's going to be helpful to you in the next period. Okay. Okay, so skills development. Now, when I speak of skills development, what I'm trying to mean is that yours should be, what are the skills that I need for my next level? Okay, what are the skills that I need for my next level? My next level means what is the position that is ahead of you that you're aspiring to grow into. Now, there are people that are in organizations where you've reached the epitome, you've reached the last level. Okay, you're not a director, you're not a CFO, but you've reached a level where you see you cannot grow. Maybe the organization does not have that the next position for you. Okay, maybe you're an accountant and maybe there is no senior accountant. Maybe the next position is, let's say, finance director, and you don't see yourself becoming a finance director. Okay, now in that case, that is why we are saying that learn as much as you can from the organization where you are. Develop the skills that are going to take you to the next level. Okay, and of course, cases where you feel the organization where you are does not have the positions that you're aspiring for, also study out and see what do people in other organizations, the positions that you want to make to in the next, let's say, 1 year or 2 years, what kind of skills are needed for such positions. Okay, it's important for you to have that in mind, and it helps you very much even as you're trying to look at your journey. Now, how I usually get to know the skills that are required for my next level? One, of course, internally, I can look at the skills of the next person. For example, the person I'm reporting to, who is usually the person that I'm aspiring basically to join. The other could be, let's say, it could be, I think you people have seen job adverts, okay? I think we've seen job adverts where some of these job adverts have what we call the skills, okay? They have the skills that are required for a given position. Now, even when you don't have the right skills, okay? Even when you don't have the right skills for given positions, yours should make sure that you are looking at what are the skills that are needed. What do I exactly need to actually get this job in the future? So you sometimes you see, for example, maybe you're required to have maybe advanced Excel skills, okay? Then you know that, okay, if my Excel skills are poor, then I actually need to improve my Excel skills, okay? So that is something that you do that you look at. In cases where, for example, maybe they are saying you should know maybe QuickBooks as an accounting software, okay? Then you know that you're going to now boost your QuickBooks skills or learn another software, okay? So that is how you're able to look into the future of where you want to go. In the same way, the next position may require that you need to have maybe a CPA course or CPA of a given level. Then you know that I'm going to prioritize my journey on the CPA to make sure that by the time I finish, let's say 2 years in this position, then I'm able to be promoted to the next position. Now, when you of course, when you looking at your skills and looking at the skills at the next level, we've said you look at internally the skills of the people that you want to aspire to be in their positions, and this we're not saying that you actually want to take over their jobs. You're not taking over their jobs, okay? Because yours is, you're preparing either to have growth internally or externally, okay? And that is why I usually don't love people, or I don't like people who are constrained to only thinking about internal growth, okay? Some people have lost the hope of looking for growth outside, and all they are looking at, when will my boss leave, okay? Now, your boss has different ambitions, and your growth cannot be limited based on your boss's ambitions, okay? So if you're there and waiting for your boss to go, then you get frustrated. And that is why you see you have to be strategic, developing your skills. You're aspiring to grow internally, and then you're also looking at, let's say, getting a better pay, okay? Now, when I spoke of skills, I've only highlighted technical skills. But also, one of the things that you should also aspire is the aspect of soft skills, okay? We have what we call the soft skills. Now, the soft skills that you need to be looking at as an accountant, okay? Of course, I shared some of these in the article that I shared, but if you're looking at senior positions, one of the skills that you should be looking at is leadership, okay? Is leadership as a skill. And when I speak of leadership as a skill, I'm speaking about leading yourself and leading others, okay? I'm speaking about leading yourself and leading others, because you're an account assistant, you want to become an accountant. Of course, you know that if I become an accountant, then I have maybe account assistant supervise. So I need to be a good leader, okay? And not only leading others, but also leading yourself. Now, in most cases, employers are looking forward to people that are able to lead themselves. You don't need to be told to do something. You do it even before it actually, before you actually told to do a given aspect, okay? And how does that happens is, you know, as an accountant, you think beyond your job. You think beyond your job, okay? and see, why am I doing the work that I'm doing? Okay. For example, I'm an accountant and I work for Save the Children. And Save the Children pays me on a monthly basis, and I have a job description. Now, when I have that job description, mine is what is beyond this job description. Like, why does the organization pay me this amount of money to do this kind of work? That is very important, because once you understand it, it means that you get more proactive even with the work that you do. You're not a person who is waiting for the clock to get to 5 and you want to move out and let's say go back home because you're frustrated by the work that you're doing. And then you're also not somebody who is going to come in the morning and all you're thinking about is the routine work that you're doing. You know, for you to attain something different in life, you have to do something different. That is something that I believe we all agree to. That for you to become a manager, you have to start acting like a manager. You have to start acting as somebody who is demonstrating that you actually have the potential to actually get the promotion that you're yearning for. So that is why it's important for you as an accountant, as an account assistant, as a branch manager, as a finance officer, or as a senior accountant, to make sure that you start acting like your next role. Okay, you take responsibility. You don't leave out something because it's not within your role. Okay, but you look at the bigger picture of the impact of the work that you're doing to the organization. And I want to tell you that myself, that really helped me as an individual. When I was an accountant, when I just joined the NGO world, I really had zeal for growth. And some of you must have heard my story. I actually entered the organization where I am at a lower pay. Okay, at a lower pay. I was earning my new growth was like my previous net in the other organization. And I want to tell you that that was one of the toughest career decisions that I made in my life. Okay, it was one of the toughest career decisions, but that career decision has actually made me who I am today. Okay, it was a lower pay. I was actually an accounts assistant where I was, and this position was an accountant position, but it was actually going to give me more responsibilities, but with a less amount of money. But why I made the decision to actually cross at a lower pay was the whole idea that this position had a more ground for my growth. Okay, there was more growth for me in this next position than the growth at this other position. I hope you're able to relate. The next role was giving me more ground to grow. Now, as you're aspiring to develop your skills in the organization and aspiring to grow, I think yours is to check around and see ahead of you. Okay, is there room for growth? Okay, is there room for growth? And if there is no room for growth ahead of you, like I've given you examples, where the next position is a position that requires somebody of, let's say, advanced skills, and you don't see yourself getting to that position, that is a case where you have no room for growth. Okay, so in the organization where I was, of course, there were people that were ahead of me, but also it's not about only knowing that there's somebody ahead of you where you can grow. It's also thinking about if this person remains in this organization and is not going anywhere, what is my fate? Okay, because you don't want to be in the organization waiting for another person to go and they don't go and you get frustrated. So, and that is why some people make it a principle and say, if within 2 years your salary has not grown, your responsibilities have not grown, okay? You're not developing any much new skill in the organization. The action for you is to move on, is to find another exit route, okay? And like the exit route could be like for my story, where it may not necessarily have more money, but it necessarily has more skills. Now, people that are still low in their career are people that require more grounds of building their skills and of more grounds of learning, okay? In your career, especially if you're starting, learn as much as you can. And that is why even if you're in that organization and you're earning a low pay, but you have a ground to learn as much as you can, okay? Give that organization not less than 2 years. If that is the kind of organization you're in, that gives you room for growth, okay? In terms of skills development, but also in terms of aspirations to grow to the next role, okay? It's very, very important. It's very, very important. Now, when also it comes to career growth, like we've saying, it's either growing internally or externally. I think one of the things that you should also be looking at here is if I'm growing externally, what will actually help me to move to the next organization? Okay, that is very, very important. What will help you move to the next organization? And that is why you start now interesting yourself in the organizations that you want to work for. When I started out working for a local firm as an intern and later an accountant, and I now wanted to work for multinationals, main was also to look around and see what do these multinationals usually look out for, okay? And then also, of course, I started taking a step into applying in some of these multinationals to make sure that I'm positioning myself rightly to them, okay? So that is very important. As you aspire to grow, look at the skills that you require, but also look at where do you want to work? Like what kind of organization do you want to work for? It's very important. And it also all comes with the intentionality that you also put into this to make sure that you're not just waiting for the wind to blow you to one side to the other, but you're doing something extra every day to grow as an individual, okay? And you put in time. Some of you have been part of our programs where we train QuickBooks, we train filing returns, we train Excel, we train, we also have the accounting academy. We train in different skills, even grants management and so on. Now, all those programs are to boost your skills, especially for the skills that you cannot develop at the workplace, okay? And these skills are developed outside. Now, you can develop these skills by learning on your own, and this could be using the online free tools, okay? Like maybe YouTube, and they also other LinkedIn. LinkedIn also has some free courses. You can also, of course, use Coursera. Coursera also has some free courses. Or when you of course, if you look at, when you just Google open courses, you're able to find courses that are around the area of study that you want to study. That is you developing the skill. Of course, in the same way as you develop your skills, remember, when we're applying for the job, some of these skills, of course, are included in our CVs, even as we shall see. But sometimes you may also want to study something, get a skill, and also get an evidence to it. And that's where a certificate might come in, okay? You say you're good at QuickBooks, but you don't have a certificate that attaches your goodness to that QuickBooks. Or maybe you did Excel training, but you don't have, remember, these are some of the documents that make you stand out from the rest of people. Another person just knows the skill, but they don't have evidence that they actually know the skill. So somebody who is shortlisting really hardly finds confidence to believe that you actually know the skill, because anyone can actually include it there, okay? So it's pretty Very important. So this is just to give you an insight ahead of our journey and why it's very important and what you should basically be looking out for. Okay, what you should be looking out for. Now, one of the things that, of course, that you also have to have in mind, especially when it comes to career growth, is the aspect of if you're part of this program, I want you to end this program with a changed mindset. Okay, with a changed mindset. And I want to tell you that it all starts from your mind. If you still believe that you cannot grow in a given organization, maybe you're thinking that, okay, I don't have a good father in this organization, or maybe I don't have the right skills, I don't have maybe the right degree, I don't have the right experience, like somebody who is part of this and maybe they're working in the bank, and that keeps you thinking like, this is not for me, this is not for me, I'll totally not get to there. Okay, now when you change your mindset and start thinking positive about your life and start thinking about your career in a positive way, then I want to tell you that you start now to attract the right opportunities ahead of you. You're becoming positive about your career, but as well as also doing what it takes, okay, to actually get you to the top. You're doing what exactly takes you to the top. It's not about just saying, for me, I've been in this job for the last 10 years and I don't believe in growth. I don't believe that thing is there. All that I'm thinking about is just quitting and maybe do my things and so on. Okay. I think you need to remain with the element of positivity so that your mind is open to growth. And that is why even when you see a job opportunity in the organization, because of your mindset, you might feel like, I think I need to apply for this job. Okay, I need to apply for this job because there is that positivity. Even when then the job requires more experience. Some of you have heard about, I've had my story. After I joined as the NGO world and became an accountant. Along the way, of course, because I entered this organization with a desire to grow, I want to tell you that I wanted to, of course, definitely I wanted to become a manager at one point in time, like anyone aspires. I wanted to become a finance manager. But in this organization, for you to become a finance manager, you needed to have become a senior accountant. Okay, you needed to have become a senior accountant. Now, when an opportunity came up for a finance manager role, when I'd been in the organization for 1 year and a half as an accountant, definitely the opportunities I was looking out for were opportunities of senior accountant, but those took time to come and they were not coming along the way. Okay, so when this opposition of finance manager came up, I was like, Samuel, I have the skills, I've developed the skills. At that point in time, I think I'd just finished my CPA. Yes, I said I'd finished my CPA. And also at the same point in time, of course, I developed a good reputation in the organization. And we all know that how that helps you as an individual. And I said, why not give this thing a try? One of the principles I have in life is that it costs me nothing to try out, especially when you're trying out for, let's say, an online application. You're not delivering. All you're doing is an email, you with your CV, with your cover letter, and send it and leave the rest to them. If they need you, they will call you. If they don't need you, another opportunity will find you. Okay? So that is, I was able to apply for the role. Okay? And I want to tell you that even the fact that there were other senior accountants that had applied for the same role in the organization, people who had been in the organization longer than me, okay? Because I'd applied for the role, I was given a ground to be interviewed. I was shortlisted, okay? I was shortlisted, and it really surprised me because, you know, you're applying for something, but you less expect it. You're just preempting. You just want to tell these people that, okay, even when I'm not yet a senior accountant, I'm actually also here, I'm ready for growth, okay? And that is why you see today I shared and say that we have to learn to ask for what we want. In most cases, when in an organization, you will feel comfortable. Okay, you may not feel comfortable, but you will not say it. Now, the other person will think you're comfortable, okay? You see, in organizations, everyone is interested to see that everyone is doing the work, especially the work that they are doing, because they do it better every day that comes. So every time they think of, let's say, maybe advancing it to the next level, one of the things of course, they'll first think about is, if we advance to the next level, who will do the work that you've been doing, okay? Who will be doing the work that you're doing? Some organizations are like that. And that is why you see, unless you ask, sometimes you will not get what you exactly need, okay? When you ask, and the asking may not only come in terms of fronting it to somebody and maybe calling for an appointment. The asking also comes from just applying for those internal positions. That alone tells the other party that you actually need to grow, okay? They're able to know, okay, this person, they will start feeling insecure. If you're a key staff and you've been doing good work, they'll start feeling insecure, because they know if they don't give you a ground to grow, either maybe better your pay or give you the next position, then you're bound to leave them, okay? And no employer would want to lose a key staff. And that is why even in our career growth, we have to make sure that we are key staff. By key staff means that you're not just a ladies and gentlemen, but you're a person that stands out of the many, okay? You're a person who is standing out of the many. You present your ideas in a way that distinguishes you from another person, okay? You're always looking out for opportunities to present your ideas to help your organization grow, to bring value to the organization. And all those things will really depict in the work that you do, okay? If you're a person who is just doing the routine work, then they will think you cannot be able to do anything extra ahead of you, okay? So that is pretty very, very important. It's very important for us to have that in mind, even as we aspire for growth, okay? Now, I believe that gives you some enlightenment on what is ahead of us. I want to go to something that is around our CVs, okay, as one of the things that we promised to look at. Now, I received several CVs, I think about 3 or 4, and I request that I use some of these CVs for the session, okay? Please, if I use your CV, don't get it bad. I think it will even help you to make this much better, okay? Even as we proceed. Okay, we will be able to share the recording for you. Don't worry if your network is not good. Okay. So, so we want to see how we can craft a winning CV. Now, we are going to analyze a CV, also to highlight in case I speak of something and you have a question. I want this session to be more interactive. It's a mentorship session. It's not a training. So I want it to be more interactive. I want you to ask key questions. And I want us, by the time we leave a given aspect, when you're somewhere, okay? So Claire, I'm going to use your CV, okay? I'm going to use your CV right here, and we're going to analyze this with the team. Okay, now one of the things that of course I indicated when it came to our mentorship, I spoke of how to create a winning CV for an accounting job. Okay, reason why I'm using some of your CVs is because I want to use it as a ground also to give you some reviews. Okay, so is clear part of this call? Okay, so I don't think is clear part of this call. I don't see clear. Jen, are you okay for us to use your CV? Not Jen. This is Maureen. Would you be okay for us to use your CV? Okay, it's right. So I'll use Maureen's CV. Okay. So Maureen, thank you so much for accepting for us to use your CV to be able to go through this session. I'm going to also use other CVs along the way. And later on, we'll show you now more standard CVs that you need to be looking out for. But I want to first pick it from so you can be able to understand some of the things you should be looking out for. Okay. Now, every time somebody says, please share with me your CV, okay? Either it is a job advert or it is maybe somebody who is just wants to maybe it's a head hunting, somebody wants your CV in that basis. There are things that you should be looking out for. One of the things you have to know is that this CV is to sell you. And this CV should be able to answer all the questions that the interviewer or the recruiter is looking out for from you. Okay? And this CV should be crafted in a way that, one, it markets you. Two, it tells the other person that you're the best candidate for the job. You've heard those two words. This CV should be able to tell the other person that you're the best candidate for the job. Now, every time you're sending your CV, know that there are other not less than 100 people, especially for positions that have been advertised generally, kind of like openly, publicly to newspapers or via online, Uganda Jobs Online. Know that you're applying and you're going for a competition that is of not less than 100 participants or competitors. Now, with that in mind, yours should be to create something that sells yourself beyond. Okay, so here we have a CV of one of our friends, Maureen Achola. If I'm looking at this CV and I'm a recruiter, yes, we have the personal detail. Definitely, she went ahead to give us her email. She also gave us her mobile phone. She also gave us her date of birth. Okay. Now, I think one of the things that you should also have in mind here is that part of the personal information, what kind of other information that may this person be interested in? Okay. What kind of information may this person be interested in? Apart from me providing my date of birth, email address, and so on. What kind of other information would this person be interested in? Okay, so this is the different details are really okay, but you also need to see, can I provide any other extra information that might help me be able to get this job? Okay, now I'll give you an example. If Maureen was applying for a job in Kampala, okay, or a job in Masaka, or a job in, let's say, maybe in Eastern Uganda, maybe in Jinja, okay? Now, if the job was location-based and Maureen is, let's say, is staying in a given area, that where the job is located, okay? You see, employers usually like people who are working in the same area. That is the reason why, because they know you're not going to incur a lot of costs as an employee. Okay, so if there is something that you can add, let's say maybe your address. Maybe if I was applying for a job in Kampala, I can add maybe address, maybe Kisasi, Kampala. Okay, so somebody knows that, okay, the person who is applying for this job, for this Kampala job, actually is in Kisasi. If I was applying for a job in, let's say, Moroto, and I actually stay in Moroto, I can actually go ahead to include that. If I'm in Kapchora, Mbali, I would also include that. And the reason why that helps, or why that is important, is it makes, once the recruiter sees your address, and maybe it's a unique location, maybe the position is in a unique location, and they would want people who are in the same area, then that alone makes them to keep going on your CV. Okay. Now, of course, date of birth is very key. The fact that different jobs may require different, let's say, different ages as well. But if you feel you're, let's say, older for the role, it's advisable that you leave out the age. Okay, it's advisable that you leave out the age unless they actually indicated it in let's say in the job advert. I think some job adverts, you see, they indicate you should have maybe an age maybe between 25 to 40. So you know very well that that is one of the things that the interviewer or the recruiter will be looking out for. So that you go ahead to include it. Okay, you include the age as well, and you may not even have to let's say, do date of birth. If they have included the age limit, include the date, calculate for them, and include the years right there for them. Okay, it's important. It's important for you. Okay, now, Maureen, you included an email here. This is .gmail.co.ug. Okay, I would just want to confirm that this is the same email. Now, Maureen, the email you shared with me is Maureen achola@gmail.com. It's not .co.ug. Okay, so I hope that is right. So the information you provide here, make sure you're providing the right information. I actually lost a job to work with Stanbic Bank. That was around 2017, there, 2016, 2017. I actually lost a job with Stanbic Bank where they invited me for an interview through email, but I actually didn't see the email. And I could only get the call at the point in time when the interview was going to be done, was going to be held. And I asked for more time. I was not allowed to get to the interview venue. Okay. And one of the things that the head of HR, I think, then told me, we are sorry, we cannot keep the panel waiting for you here, because we expected you to be here at the given point in time. And they told me that make sure next time you include your phone contact and the right emails on your CV. Okay, definitely. Of course, I'd tried to put the right information, but make sure you're writing the same thing. So Maureen, you'll try to edit this to make sure it's actually .com. Okay. Contacts, very key for you to include the contacts, definitely, because once somebody has shortlisted, because remember, we open the emails, and we shall now have the CVs. These CVs, usually the person who is shortlisting is, let's say, could be maybe an HR person who is looking out for the skills. He's looking out for the key things that were in the job description. Now, the person who is going to say, let's invite this one for the interview, let's not invite for this one, will basically use the CVs. So they will not go back to the emails. And that's why it's important for you to make sure that the information you're providing is right. Okay, I think that one everyone can do. Now, we have this thing called personal profile. This thing called personal profile. Now, this thing called personal profile is a very important item on your CV. Is a very important item on your CV. And why it's important? Because it's a summary. Okay, I think you've heard about the executive summary. This is the executive summary of your CV. This is the executive summary of your CV. Now, many people make a mistake of using generic words. By generic words means words that anyone else can actually use. Now, when you making your personal profile, make sure one, it includes a summary of your accomplishments, and also make sure that it highlights the key skills, especially that are required for the job that you're applying for, as well as the relevant experience and the relevant skills that are being looked out for. Now, every job requires a unique, or what we call a tailored CV. Every job requires a unique or a tailored CV, okay? And why that is important is because today you're applying for a job in an NGO, the other day you're applying for a job in the private sector, the other day you're applying for a job in the bank, the other day you're applying for a job in local government. Now, the experience, the skills, and so on may be totally different, okay? May be totally different. And that is why you see every job advert has a specific skills that are required, as well as the specific qualifications, and then also the experience and so on, okay? For example, if I'm applying for a job that is, let's say, requires 5 years experience, the 5 or 6, 7 years that I have in experience have to appear within my personal profile, okay? And also make sure that you capturing your, I call them wins, W-I-N. What are those things that make you stand out, okay, from other candidates? Those are the ones that you should indicate within your profile here, okay? Based on the job, what it exactly makes you stand out, okay? It could be experience. Maybe the job requires 5 years experience and you have 7 years experience, okay? So that should appear within your profile. This job may be requiring a given skill of understanding the SAP accounting system or Tally accounting system. That should appear. I want to tell you that some CVs only get chance to be read only on the profile. And remember, we are trying to make the first impression. We are trying to make the first impression to who? To the recruiter. So by making the first impression to the recruiter, it means that our personal profile should make sure that it is eye-catching. And what makes it eye-catching is tailoring it to the requirements of the job you're applying for. So from this session, make sure that you never use the same CV for different jobs. Take some time, could be an hour, could be 30 minutes to do some tailoring, okay? You may not have to you're going to change everything, but make sure that you're tailoring something towards, you're tailoring your skills and experience towards the job that has been. It's not about faking what you don't have, okay? But what I'm saying is that highlight those things. You know, you may not have the years of experience that are required for the job, but if you have certain skills that make you preferred for the job, include them in. Don't include the years. If the job requires for 7 years, don't include that I have 4 years experience in this, because at the end of the day, that will be it will be something that will make somebody feel you're not the right person they are looking out for. Remember, this person has 100 CVs to look at. This person has 100 CVs to look at. So why should I continue through your CV when I already have 90 CVs to look at? Okay, I don't know you and I have never seen you. I'm trying to look for the best candidate for myself, and once I look at your CV, you have 4 years experience, and that's why you see, if you see that something is limiting you, just like the way like I talked of the address in the personal detail. If you feel you're in a location that doesn't favor you, maybe you stay in Gulu and you're applying for a job in Kampala, that shouldn't appear within your personal details. Okay? Under that address, don't include that, because that alone will make this person sieve you out. Okay? So within your personal profile, include what key experience do you have that is around a given job? What key skill do you have? What key qualification do you have? The job might have required for a master's, maybe an MBA or a CPA. If I'm applying for an accounting job that I know requires a CPA, definitely I will not leave out myself being a certified public accountant or pursuing CPA. Okay? So I think some of you have seen my profile. Okay? It's a little longer, but it is eye-catching. It is a little longer, but it is eye-catching. And of course, this one I use it for several things. That is why it is as it is. But I did that because I'm intentional about it. I really don't. I may not. For some, of course, when I'm applying for jobs, I reduce it depending on what the job requires. This is just this profile is my profile on the consulting side, on my teaching side, and my coaching side. And the reason why it is that detailed is because I want you to make sure that you understand me as I am. Okay. Now, one of the things that you have to know is that even when you look through this CV, yes, I've not gone ahead to say I'm hardworking, I'm committed to my work, I'm disciplined, and so on. Reason being is that anyone can have those things, and you can actually copy and paste them on your profile, okay? You can copy and paste them from somewhere and put them into your profile. But what I'm doing here is I pick key things that relate directly to my job, okay, to the one that I'm applying for, but also key things that I'm doing, okay? So when someone looks at this and says, Samuel is a finance and tax specialist with strong accounting and financial background, just the word strong accounting catches their mind, okay? Catches their mind, and say accounting, financial and tax background. They're like, okay, this is a person who is endowed. They are not just an accountant, but they're a person who have element of finance and tax as well, okay? And I go on to say I have had extensive. Now, the word extensive is also eye-catching. It makes somebody want, what does this boy want to say that is extensive? So extensive in nature. So have these eye-catching words in your profile as well, even throughout your CV, okay? Make sure that the words that you're using are exceptional in nature, okay? Because you're not an ordinary person. Like you don't want to just be ordinary, be taken as an ordinary person. You want to demonstrate the true version of you, who you feel others should know about, okay? And you see, I go on to say I've worked for several multinationals and NGOs from various parts of the world, and I've been instrumental in development of financial capacity and so on. And then I come here and they say someone holds a first-class bachelor's degree in commerce. Now, somebody will say, but some you like boasting so much. Every time you speak about first class and so on. Now, you may not have the first class like me. You may have your second class upper. If you have a second class upper, well and good. If you have a second class lower, you want to be you want first hold on to bring in that, okay? You can just say, maybe someone holds a bachelor's degree in commerce. The reason why I bring this aspect of first class here is because I know it is eye-catching to the person, and also I have it. But if you don't have it, what I'm saying is that leave it out. If you have a second class lower, if it's an upper, you can include it because it's a plus. If you have a second class lower and anything lower than that, leave it. Like, don't put something that will make them throw you out. Okay? Remember, here this CV you're providing is a CV to help you to be shortlisted. In case they want more information from you, they will ask that from, let's say, the interview. And remember, by the time you're in the interview, you've been even given a platform to speak beyond your qualifications, okay? You know, very well we understand that it's not about the qualifications, that if you have, let's say, first class degree, or you have a master's, or you have a PhD, that you actually be able to perform your job well. That is not something that is 100% true, okay? But remember, what we are doing with our CVs, what we are doing with our cover letters, is we want to make sure we sell ourselves, okay? If I'm selling, let's say I'm selling maybe either perfume, or I'm selling a cloth, or maybe it's a dress, or I'm selling, maybe even I'm selling a car. I will not come and tell you that my car breaks down every month, okay? What I would think, I'll tell you, this car, as you can see it, it's a good model, it has good fuel consumption, it has this and this. I'll tell you the best things about the car. And the reason why I do that is because I want to lure you to buy the car from me, okay? Any other things, those ones you'll find out by yourself, okay? And if you ask, I will tell you. But before, I want to eye-catch you, okay? I want to eye-catch, I want to sell. Any person who is selling will not want to undersell themselves, okay? Remember, you're in a competition. Same for me who is selling a car to you, and I'm the only seller. In this case, the person whom you're selling to is not seeing you. They are actually reading from CV. That is what they all see. Even if you're good, how you've gotten whatever kind of let's say awards and so on, this person doesn't know. Okay, this person doesn't know, and that is why you see you have to use things that make you stand out. If you have a master's and the job requires a master's, front it and say Samuel holds a master's degree in financial accounting. Okay, that alone makes somebody to read more. Every sentence you put should lure somebody to read more about you in that document. Okay, so that is something that you should have in mind. And of course, along the way as well, include any other qualifications. For example, myself, I have the CPA qualification. In case you don't have the CPA qualification and you're applying for the job, find something else that you can leverage on. Okay, if you already have maybe 3 years in experience, okay, let that be there. If at all this job requires maybe 3 years experience and let's say and below, let that you front that. In case the job requires you to have finished CPA and you're at level 3, please leave out that leave out anything. If you're at level 2, yes, you may leave out. If at level 3, you want to be a bit reserved about declaring that whole level 3 thing, especially in your profile. Down in the CV, you can include it, okay? But you want by the time somebody looks at your education background, by the time somebody is looking at your experience, okay, somebody should have already been convinced. They should have gotten a summary already of other better things that you have than the things that they may want to put focus to, okay? So that is very important, okay? So for example, right here, I think you can see Samuel serves as a country finance partnership lead at Save the Children with overall responsibility in and strategic leadership in guiding the finance roles of the organization's finance portfolio. I go on to also summarize. I also served finance manager in the organization and in another finance functions of different organizations where I had vast exposure and so on. This alone, and also come here and say I have vast understanding of accounting systems and so on. Now, every time I'm applying for a job and I know it requires Tally, it requires, let's say, QuickBooks, I'll try to remove some of the others and front the other, okay? And front the other and make sure that the person who is recruiting me knows that I'm actually have the right skills, okay, that they are looking out for. So you can see this would be my profile that I would use for an accounting role, okay? Just something similar to this. This alone, yes, I fear God, I'm disciplined, I'm hardworking, I'm committed, but I think this will be better eye-catching and will better give a summary of me before the person who's recruiting, okay? If I'm to add, like I say, this is generic, and I tailor this, I add more wordings to this based on the job, okay? If the job requires me to have experience, maybe working up country, maybe working in remote areas, I'll be able to include that. Okay? I have experience in working in places like Moroto and so on, okay? If, for example, the job is saying maybe you need to, let's say, you need to have a good understanding of tax, I'll be able to bring it up here of how I have a good understanding of the Ugandan tax system. And I have key skills, especially in the latest tax developments like the IFRS system, okay? Taxation planning, filing of returns and so on. I'll be able to bring them all here, okay? And if for example, I'm applying in, let's say, maybe the national oil company, I'm able to bring in the element of, let's say, I have a certificate in oil and gas, okay? Now, as you can see here, there are things that I've left out that I really have, okay? And just because they don't relate to the job I'm applying for. And that is why you see, every time you're doing your CV, make sure that you're only including the right kind of information that is needed for the given job. If you have a cell, maybe you're applying for, let's say, an accounting job, and you have, you may be already an accountant somewhere, but you have maybe another experience that is totally not related to that, okay? That is something that you may just better leave out, okay? Because it totally doesn't sell you to that given job. Like I said, please use the chat box to ask a question. Ziada asks, Samuel, for soft skills, I quote leadership only. Did you perhaps mention others that I didn't pick? Okay. Some of the other skills that you should be looking at, of course, is the analytical skills, analytical and critical thinking skills, okay? Analytical and critical thinking skills. Every accountant should have great, excellent analytical skills, okay? Every accountant should have great analytical skills. So those are some of the soft skills that you should be looking at, even critical thinking as well. The other could be around communication, both oral and written. Reason why is an accountant is also a stakeholder manager. You work with banks as the key person for the organization. You work with suppliers, you work with customers. You also work with you also of course work internally with, let's say, shareholders as well. You work with shareholders and so on. So ideally, the aspect of oral and written communication is very key, okay? And then, of course, teamwork. Teamwork is also very important, okay? Teamwork is very important. And of course, organization and time management are also very important. They are also very important. And the reason why all those are important is, you know, it's not about only the technical skills. Actually, when you advance in your career, you get to realize that the technical skills are no longer that much relevant, because it is presumed that you are supervising other people who have those right skills. So you don't have to know it all, okay? You don't have to know it all. And that is why you see it's important that you also develop the other skills as well. Yeah, very important. Now, somebody just asked about skills, and I want to show you something here. There's something I want to show you, since we are speaking about CVs here. So this is a job. It's on Uganda Jobs Online. It's a finance manager for dwelling places. Okay, and the duty station is head office with frequent travel to Uganda, and you're reporting to the deputy director operations. Of course, right there, the organization is there, and then the summary is here. The job summary will provide a professional, financial, and accounting service to dwelling places, ensuring sound internal controls are in place and adhered to, and financial transactions are carried out in accordance with recognized international standards and organization policies and procedures. And then the strategic objectives to strengthen institutional and organizational capacity of dwelling places, successfully engage partners, secure projects, identify and manage diversified funding, and effectively and efficiently manage and implement existing projects by the end of the year 2025. Now, you see this, just this word of this job summary here. Everything that you see in a job advert, somebody is looking out for them in your CV, okay? So you could be an accountant that has really good understanding of international standards, but you don't even include that anywhere. In case, of course, I'm writing my let's say profile, and I know that these guys are looking out for somebody of this kind, then I'm like, okay, I need to see what kind of keywords that can I try to borrow a leaf here. Of course, these are things that you already know, okay? You're not just going to put maybe ensuring sound internal controls if you've never done it. You've done it, but here you're not waiting for somebody to figure it out themselves and say, okay, maybe because they're an accountant, they're actually doing it. The reason why they have brought it here to your attention, even in the job summary, is because they are looking for this exact person. Okay, they know you know many things, but their first thing in the mind is to ensure this person ensures sound internal controls are in place. So when somebody goes through in your CV, can they be able to pick something to do with internal controls? Okay, important. So what I wanted to show basically is the other question that was asked about skills and about the soft skills. Now, some people, I hope not people here, they only want to keep their eyes on the technical skills. For example, our technical skills here was the applicant must hold a professional qualification in finance or accounting, that is CPA or CCA. And they said an MBA plus university degree with a major accounting or related field, a minimum of 5 years experience in a similar or higher position with at least 3 years in any government organization, excellent computer skills. As a minimum, you should understand Microsoft Excel and QuickBooks, budgeting online and other financial software is highly desired. Now, this alone, some of these things, if you have them, they should be part of your profile. Okay? Some of these things, if you have over 7 years experience, include it there. If you have excellent, I think you can see, they have included excellent computer skills. Now for you, you have your Microsoft skills and you really think they are okay. And you just want to put, Samuel knows to use Microsoft Excel. So how shall we know that you actually match the excellence that we are looking out for? Why are you not using the words that will be eye-catching to the other person? And say, Samuel has outstanding Excel skills. Somebody's interested to know more and they would want to give you an opportunity to come for the interview so they can ask more. Okay, what kind of excellence are you talking about? Now, of course, like I also indicated, when it comes to accounting softwares, if you're an accountant, include them if at all they are required for a given job. Make sure you include them in your profile. Don't say this, somebody will sit in the job, down on my job experience and other skills and so on. First, I catch them. It costs you nothing to have them in the personal profile and also have them down, okay? And then, of course, Now we have these soft skills. Now, you may think that these ones are actually, they don't matter. People think that they don't matter. But if they didn't matter, they would not be here. Okay? They would not be here. So because they matter, remember the person who is shortlisting has the job description in one hand, and in the other hand has your CV, which is on the laptop. So they are like, can we include this one? Maybe one shortlist 5 people. Can we include this person in the 5 people we are shortlisting? Now, if you don't have, or your CV does not demonstrate that you have 90%, okay? 80 to 90% of this that is indicated here, then it's highly likely that somebody will move to the next person, will move to the next candidate. It's only if we miss to find the other person that we shall come back again and look through and see, okay? Now, some of you are part of this mentorship and you've never gotten any job that you've applied for in an open kind of competition. Maybe most of the jobs you have a recommendation, someone recommends you. Now, if you want to compete in the real world and you want to earn a good pay, you want to be competitive as much as possible, make sure that you learn how to compete for some of these jobs outside, okay? Make sure that you learn how to compete for some of these jobs outside. Now, the key skills that I've told you, like I think you see, strategic thinking and planning skills, flexibility, being adaptive, and so on. Now, this is also similar, even as we look at interviews, okay? We shall look at more of interviews, but just as they are being listed here for this, for you as you apply to submit your CV, even when you're shortlisted and you're going for this interview, yours is to first look out for these requirements, the qualifications, skills, and experience. When they ask you that key question called, tell us about yourself, if I'm on the panel, all that I want to hear are things related to this information. This is what I'm looking forward to hear. Yes, I know you from a humble background, you went through maybe that local school in your village and so on. Myself, I'm looking forward to match your skills, experience, and qualifications to the job that we're interviewing you for. For the few minutes that you're in the face of these people, remember, just like your CV is your first selling point when you want to be shortlisted, the question of tell us about yourself is also the first impression that you should make. By the way, I think you see there are people who spend less time in the interviews, and then there are people who take longer. Usually people who take longer are people who have been able to give a good impression, and they have made the person who is interviewing them to want to know more. Okay? Because if you don't give a good impression, then you're saying, please give a chance to the next person who is waiting at the door. You put them in the mind, we are humans, you get? And every time I know that, okay, I have more other 5 people to interview, I would not want to waste a lot of time, especially when the information you've given to me is totally irrelevant to the job that you're applying for, okay? So much important for you to have that in mind, that these things that are included on job adverts are not just included for nothing. And that is why you don't just see a job advert on this and run to the requirements and say, let me send to the email, and that is so on. I'll say, please find attached my CV and cover letter. You just go to the cover letter and just change the name of the person you're writing to the HR dwelling places, and all the content that is within your CV was used to apply for an accountant job 2 years back when your skills were still low, when the experience was still maybe 2 years experience. You now have over 4 years experience. You have 5 years experience. How is that being shown in your CV? Okay. I hope we are picking something. Okay. I want to get in the chat box what has been your lesson? What is two things that you've so far picked from the interaction we've just had from the time we've started? Let's just use the chat box as I take some water here. Use the chat box to indicate two things that you didn't know that you're realizing now. You may also use this the same time after the two things. You can also ask a question. Okay, I'm waiting for the chat box. This is the mentorship. And one of the things that you need to know is that a mentorship is not like a training. A mentorship is interacting, okay? By interacting, I mean, I usually want to learn from my mentees as well. And we want to connect, okay? Because our relationship is not only ending on this interaction. I want to connect with you. I want to know your challenges. I want to know what are you learning. I want to make sure that this is helpful, and I want to make sure that this is also giving you value. Okay. So Monica says, relating to the personal profile, I've learned the soft skills are also important in our CV and to tailor our CV for different jobs. Okay. Let's keep them coming. Please make sure that you indicate something. Okay. Andrew says the use of catching words is important. Bernard says, thanks, Samuel. I've learned much about energy soft skills, and thanks, communication is key as an aspiring accountant. Okay. Give more in-depth on skills and how to answer questions, or tell us about yourself in the interview panel. Okay. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Now, like I said, when it comes to the interview question of tell us about yourself, it is the first chance for you to sell yourself. And I want to tell you that that question is a determinant question on whether the interviewers will be interested more in understanding about you, or they'll feel like they'll just run through the next questions and let you go. Okay. Like I said, every job requires a tailored CV as well as a tailored response. Okay. Now, for example, if I'd applied for this role, okay? If I'd applied for this role, basically, for this role, what I'll basically say, let's see, okay? What I would basically say, I would say, okay, so you enter an interview panel, and of course, once you enter, of course, you enter confidently. And one of the things that you should also make sure that, especially to get the confidence, especially in the interviews, make sure you go a little earlier so that you're able to breathe well, as well as also make sure that you prepare much. Okay, one of the things that we are doing is here to learn how to prepare, find more about the organization, and find more about the job that you're going to do, and understand it much better. So if I'm answering the question, I'll just give you an example. For example, I know I'm working for this is Dwelling Places, and it's a registered Christian non-government organization which specializes in now, did we see when I looked at more this is Maureen's profile. Maureen, do you see where you included social God-fearing? If an organization like this is recruiting and they see something God-fearing and they registered Christian non-government organization, this is something that relates well. Actually, if you're applying for a job for this and you're Christian, even including it as part of your personal detail is okay, because these people, since they are registered Christian, of course they may be working with other religions as well, but you as a Christian, it makes you become more relevant, okay, to them. You're speaking the same language that they hear, okay? Yeah, so they work with resettlement and follow-up of children living on streets. The overall objective of them is to have a society where every child has a chest to rest their head on and a place to call home. Wow. Okay. So you see, I'm buying into the organization. So remember, I'm in this organization for an interview, and I've known it very well what these guys are looking out for. And I've not only about the skills and experience that they have included here, but I've also understood them. What is their objective? They want to make sure they create an environment where every child has a chest to rest on and a place to call home, okay? Only those words, I'll find a way of fixing them along my journey, okay? So this is how I'll start, okay? After I'm given a chance, of course, where I've been asked to please have a seat, say, so welcome Samuel, thank you for applying for this job. Of course, they go ahead to introduce themselves. Of course, it's also good to make sure that you're attentive, to make sure that you pick at least the name of one of the interviewer, so that even when you're responding, you're able to personalize the message. Now, if they ask me, so Samuel, you've applied for this job, tell us about yourself. Now, the question of tell us about yourself can also be a question of what makes you stand out as the best candidate, or why should we hire you? All those questions are basically speaking to the same thing, okay? So if this is the job that I have applied for, I may also want to look at what are some of the responsibilities that this person does, okay? So this person oversees the external audit process, they supervise the accounting ledger and see that it's actually posted. They ensure balanced budget is developed, ensure all incomes are recorded. They prepare a monthly payroll. They correlate all payment requests. They manage weekly updates and so on, liabilities. They do monitoring of BVS. They also prepare monthly financial reports for management. They also prepare returns to meet the deadlines. They also go ahead to organize financial and accounting training for other staff. In addition, they deputize the director of finance, okay, and so on. Okay, so if that is the job, I've just tried to get an insight of about the job. So this is how I'll begin and say, of course, I'll say thank you so much for giving me an opportunity, one, to be invited for this interview, but also to be able to speak about my capabilities, experience, and qualifications. So my name is Samuel Ibanda, and I am an accountant by profession. I hold a certified public accountant's qualification from the ISPAU, Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. I also hold a first-class degree in Bachelor of Commerce, and I've also undertaken several trainings in the areas of accounting systems, in the areas of budgeting, in the area of tax, grants management, among others. My experience rotates around working with NGOs, and I've worked with NGOs for the past 5 years, and I'm currently working as a country finance lead at Save the Children, where my key role rotates around providing strategic leadership to the organization's partnership portfolio. My skills rotate around Microsoft Excel. I've developed key skills in using Microsoft Excel, both through my work, but also through my training. I've also developed key skills around the use of QuickBooks. I've used QuickBooks for the last 3 to 4 years, and it's a software that I'm comfortable with, and I should say I'm excellent at using. I've also stood out with having quality and good analytical skills, and this is based on my previous background as, of course, as a student of mathematics, and also being a person who loves numbers. Okay, previously I've worked with different donors, and these vary from USAID, NORAD, UKAID, and so on. I also am very passionate about service, about working with other people, and that depicts much the fact that I'm a Christian, and also as a person who follows Christ. And given the fact that this role is within an organization that looks out to provide a home for every child, and also to create an environment where every child has a chest to rest on, I believe that I can add more value. Also, maybe just to also highlight, I've also performed very well in my previous roles. And in 2019, I was voted the best employee of the year in the organization. And this came as a result of because of my role that supports different project managers in the organization in the area of accounting and budgeting. I also have developed capacity of different accountants in the organization, and I've also been able to support management make critical decisions around different areas of the organization. Maybe one of the other things that I also want to basically indicate is that along my profession, I've also had several achievements that I've been able to get, especially from the organization I've worked for. I was able to set up key internal controls in the organization where I'm working for, that at this time, we have less cases of fraud and also misappropriation of resources. Okay, so that is just an insight of what I would basically say when I'm trying. So as you can see, I'm just trying to do an impromptu response onto a question, but you can see that my response is trying to depict on the skills that these people are looking out for, the software that I should be able to know. I'm trying to also to bring in the aspect that I understand the organization as well. I'm trying to also bring in the aspect that I have related knowledge working with NGOs because I know this is an NGO and so on. Okay, now there are many things, and you see some of these pointers. You know, you can have a good skill or you can have a good qualification, but go for an interview and fail to speak about it. And maybe because of confidence, maybe because you're afraid of speaking, you reach and there are maybe over 10 people on the panel and you're afraid, you're sweating and you can't speak. And that is why you see even where you can practice some of these things is very key to know that I'm going for an interview at trading places. What are some of the things I'll be talking about? Like, what are some of those key things? Here, I just did an impromptu speech, but if I'm going to this organization, I know that I might speak about my passion for children. I might speak about my Christianity, okay, because I know it's a Christian organization, so I resonate well with them. I'll speak about my being a certified public accountant. I'll speak about my being, of course, a best employee at one point in time, because anyone would love to recruit a best employee or want to know about them. I would know that these people, since they deal with basically financial management for NGOs, budget management, and so on, all those things, I have to highlight them, okay? So you saw I didn't have to go back to say, I studied my primary in this area, I did this and this. Now, all that information is irrelevant to the job. The primary school you went to does not make a decision on to whether to give you the job or not, because all we want is what are your qualifications that relate well to the job that is being advertised. And that is why you see even in the job advert here, they did come here and indicate that you must have a USCE, you must have A level. Maybe I went to this school for A level. That's not something they need. They want to know what are your qualifications related to the job, okay? And like I said, if you think something puts you down, don't include it, okay? If you feel maybe you don't have experience in accounting, make sure you don't say you have experience in accounting when you don't have, because they'll ask you, okay? So if you want to cross to, let's say, NGOs, and you totally don't have experience in NGOs, you could bring in things like, for example, if you volunteered somewhere, bring it up. Maybe volunteered in maybe a church setting or a small CBO and so on, bring it up. If, for example, you have attended maybe a grants management training, it's one of the things that we do train at Achievers, and you have a certificate or you've trained it from another place, include it in your explanation, because you know that every word that you're speaking, somebody's noting and somebody's relating it to the job that you applied for, okay? So very important. So I just wanted to highlight that as well. And of course, one of the things that also you need to basically know is that, okay, Maureen here asks, how can I convince an employer to hire me if after applying for a job and getting a response that you overqualified for the position? And now, Maureen, and this is what I basically do, especially for jobs that I see that I'm overqualified. If a job does not require a master's and you have a master's, it costs you nothing to leave out that title, that qualification, okay? if the job I'm applying for does not need a certain kind of certificate, maybe you have a certificate in customer care or a certificate in maybe whatever, anything that is not relevant, I leave it out. Okay. Now, convincing the other person that even if you're overqualified, maybe you're the person you're looking out for, is, I think, being able to explain to them on why would you want to take up a job that is of lower qualifications than your current qualifications. Okay. So that should be your starting point. So yours should be, for example, you've been working in the banking sector for some good time, but you feel your passion is in accounting, and you think that this organization, although this is a lower position, you think that once given the opportunity to take up this job role in this organization, then you'll be able to grow your desirable career. Okay. And also bring in the aspect that the overqualification is actually a plus to the job in itself. Okay. But like I said, even before you reach to this extent, make sure that you don't bring in things that you think will depict you as a person who is overqualified. Okay. Especially for certain kind of jobs. Okay. So it's very important for you to have that in mind as going forward. Now, because of time, I want to summarize this by this session by one thing. Somebody says they want to know more about LinkedIn. Now, as we do CVs, I'm actually going to give you an assignment, by the way. Okay, I'm going to give you an assignment. So I'm going to give you a job that you're going to apply for. You're going to tailor your CV on, just like the way we've gone through. Okay. Now, sorry. Okay. So this is my LinkedIn, and why LinkedIn is an addition to the CV is that LinkedIn is your online CV. Okay. As you try to beautify your CV, the one you have in written, one of the things that you have to know is that organizations have now moved to digital. Okay. Organizations have now moved to digital. And why they have moved to digital, you see this job of jobs, this part of jobs. Once I move here, for example, is this job of senior accountant or the mutual. Okay. You'll find this job online and it has the option of apply. So when you click on apply, it will ask you share your profile. Okay. To the other person. So I'll say continue. So right there, I've shared my profile with the recruiter. So it means that when this recruiter is trying to look at my application, the LinkedIn profile will be part of the things that they will be looking at. Okay. So my profile here has to be able to sell me. Okay. So it should be a reflection of your CV, and that is why you see, even when it comes to, this is now my dashboard. So some of the things somebody will not see them, but as you can see, I hope you can see. As you can see, most of these things, as you see them here, are the same things that are similar in my personal profile. Okay. are the same things that are similar in my personal profile. As you can see, my about right there. And of course, I have let's say the job the kind of the jobs I've worked for here, broken down and so on, like you can see. And then I also have my education background here. And then I have down here, I have my volunteering experience. And then I have a recommendation from one person here I've worked with. Then I also have accomplishments and projects right there. Because I have languages, I have organizations, and then I have my interests, okay? Now, the LinkedIn profile is actually, when we are working for CVs, and one of the things that I want to, if you are part of this mentorship session and you don't have a LinkedIn profile, yours should, one of the assignments that we should, at the end of this mentorship, everyone should have a LinkedIn profile that speaks well to them. And the reason why I also make sure that this about is like my personal profile, okay, is because when somebody visits my personal profile, this is one of the first things that they are going to look at, okay? It's the first thing that they are going to look at because it's important. Now, you see here, now, I have over 1,274 people. There are 1,274 people that have viewed my profile in the past 90 days. You see, 1,274 people who have viewed my profile in the last 90 days. Now, part of those people that have viewed my profile are recruiters, okay? Now, some of them, of course, are random people like yourself. After this, you may want to go and check out my profile as you also work on yours. But part of these people are recruiters, and you see what some of these recruiters indicate. Let me just show you one of them here. Okay, so this is Judith Chakua. She's an HR and organization development manager at Eastern Roofing. She comes to my inbox and says, Samuel, you have a great profile. Okay, you have a great profile, Samuel. Okay, and I say, thank you, Judith. Now, this one, Chakua, is a recruiter. Okay, these are people that I'm interested in the future, just in case. Okay, just in case anything happens, she's one of those people that I'm interested in. I think you can see I have conversations here happening in my inbox from different people. And some of these people are key people that they are great connections that can actually be able to land me somewhere. Like I've told you previously, I've landed some jobs via LinkedIn here, okay? So as you work on your CV, also make sure that you're working on your LinkedIn profile. Your LinkedIn profile should be updated, and it should have, of course, a professional photo of you, okay? The reason why I use this, of course, this is my professional photo. As you can see, I'm in a tie, and then I went ahead. Reason why I used this up here as my cover photo is because it's an achievement photo. When somebody looks at this, sees Samuel is receiving a certificate, sees some background here, sees Stanbic, sees other people there, and Samuel is receiving a certificate, and they're like, okay, this Samuel, I think, is a responsible person, okay? So it's just trying to read the mind of anyone who visits the profile to see what exactly would they be seeing, okay? And of course, now me, I'm a person who is Dio. I'm into a normal career as employed, but I'm also as a consultant, I'm a coach and so on. And my profile might be tailored to the kind of life that I want to portray, okay? Because I'm trying to speak to both to recruiters, but I want to speak to the people that are like you, who can be part of my mentorship sessions and so on, okay? So it's that is why I choose to do the things that I do that way, okay? But this should also be able to sell you. What are you exactly doing? And from here, you can be able to get people that follow up with you. So on those that are on LinkedIn, make sure that you send through your link, a link to your profile in the WhatsApp group, so that I can just check it out. And I would also would love to connect with you. And also just check out, in case you have a LinkedIn profile, make sure you also refine your LinkedIn profile to depict the true version of you. Make sure that anything that you think sells you out, include it there, especially your profile here. Make sure that it's a profile that includes you, okay? I'll show you one of my colleagues, Julius, whom I'm working with at Achievers. For him, he could have more of a job profile, okay? I think some of you know Julius. Julius is a partner at Achievers. So I endorse him for financial reporting. So key highlights. So you can see his profile. It's as simple as is, because of course he's tailored to his career, their professional career. As you can see, Julius is a certified public accountant with over a decade of experience. You see, this word decade is a plus. And from various entities ranging from international NGOs to government, he has a rich and varied experience in multi-finance. And these keywords are keywords that want somebody to go ahead to learn more. And you can see Julius has strong abilities to analyze accounting processes and identify practices and procedures that require correction and modification. He has a high level of initiative and ability to formulate recommendations to improve accounting systems and financial management practices. He has advocated and executed multiple process automation initiatives to bring out efficiency to operation. He's been able to do this on the back of a successful track record of leading a finance team to deliver challenging goals. Now, Julius is a finance manager. This is something that is key for him, because as a manager, it's not only about you, but it's also about leading the team, okay? So as you can see down, this is his role. He goes ahead to even break down on what he's doing, okay? Some of you just copy job descriptions of your jobs and just paste them there. You don't know that whatever you put here, make sure that it positions you as a strategic future employee to somebody, okay? I think you can see this is his experience as well. He goes down to his education, SCCS, CPA, bachelor's degree in commerce, volunteer experience, okay? Key skills right there, Microsoft Excel, very key, and then his interests. That is all. You can see his profile photo is a professional profile photo that makes you look at somebody to be professional, okay? So I believe you're trying to pick something from all this that we are doing, is that it's not just about putting yourself outside there, but you have to put yourself outside there intentionally, okay? You have to put yourself there intentionally. So based on that, I want us to work on our profiles, okay? I want us to work on our profiles. I also want us to have LinkedIn accounts. Make sure that you drop your links. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, make sure you create one, okay? You can download an application on Android or iPhone. You can also access this through a web application, either on your phone or your laptop, and update it accordingly, okay? Remember, here we are positioning ourselves for both for the jobs, but also for any other opportunities, okay, that might come around our knowledge that we have. For those that are looking forwards to do side hustles, you know very well that in the same way, this is a professional ground that has also different people. It has business people. It has different other people that may need your knowledge. I will tell you that myself, I usually get many people that contact me here for what? For some of the work that I do, okay? Maybe because of the way I've portrayed my profile, okay? So it's important for you to keep your eyes onto what exactly you want to portray to the world, okay? So important. So it's 17 minutes past 21, and I want to end here. I want to see if there's any question. Someone says, do you mind sharing with us your complete CV designed for reference? Okay, we'll share some standard templates for you to pick. I've learned the following, I think. So as we end, just comment in the comment section here as you end the day. Your takeaway for the day, basically the takeaway for the day, and let's continue this conversation in the WhatsApp group as we wait for tomorrow to come through. Like I said, we have this platform for the next 1 month, okay? We have this platform for the next 1 month. I just don't want to explain things, and at the end of the day, I want to make sure that your CVs, I've looked at them, and your LinkedIn profiles, I've also looked at them, and also want to make sure that you've developed the right confidence for interviews, and also how to answer each interview question, okay? And also seeing how to create personal brands, either within the organization or also outside, but as well as also online, okay? To be able to attract opportunities. So make sure that yes, I'll share this information, and especially for those that had bad network challenges, just include in the chat box your takeaway for the day, and then we shall be able to end. Otherwise, thank you so much, and I believe this is helpful to you, and I believe that we shall learn together, and I believe we shall grow together. I want to tell you that you've made the right decision to be part of this journey, and I want to tell you that other people think that it is luck. Okay, only, yes, I believe in luck, and I believe in God making way for somebody. Even for myself, He has made the way for me. But there are supplements that you need to take responsibility in. There are things that you need to be able to do as you as an individual. Okay, even before God brings the opportunity, there are things that you need to position yourself right there. If God has opened an opportunity to be shortlisted, how are you positioning yourself to convince other people that? Because God creates a ground for you, and for you now, your responsibility is to shine, okay? Your responsibility is to shine and demonstrate that you are the person that people are looking out for. So thank you so much. And I would love to hear from you, your general comment about today's class, just in the chat box here, and then we shall be able to close. Okay. So Benjamin says, thank you so much for the mentorship. It is great. Blessed evening. Thank you. Learn that LinkedIn profile, personal profile is vital in our careers. I'm grateful for your sharing with us. A blessed night. Thank you so much, Benon. Can I hear from other people before you drop by, guys? Please drop your takeaway, and how the class went for you before you drop off. If you're watching a replay of this, I would also love to hear from you. Should be able to revert with your comment. Use the chat box to type your comment before you can drop off. Otherwise, I want to say to you that yes, sometimes it's sometimes you feel like whatever you're trying out is not really working. Every course that you people bring up, I'll have the qualifications, but I've totally failed to find a job. Okay, and as you can see, some of the things I've shared with you are things that you take for granted. Some of you are lazy to even go ahead to tailor your CV to a given job because somebody has told you there's an opportunity. You just keep sending. So you're sending and you forget that you're competing with over 100 people that are applying for the same job. So what do you expect? Okay, what do you expect? At the end of the day, you know that there are people who have better skills than you. There are people who have better experience than you. So if you're not showing what you think you're better than other people, then it will cost you much. You'll apply for several jobs and no one will be interested in you. Okay, so it's important for you to make sure that you're positioning yourself, sell yourself to others. Okay, you're positioning yourself. Let somebody look at your CV and feel like we need to see the physical person behind this CV. Okay, have a CV that yourself you're confident about and say, this CV best represents me. This CV is what anyone would look at and say that we need to hire. Very important. So thank you so much, Branzio. Says thank you so much, Samuel, for this session. It's been incredible. Thank you for sharing knowledge and the mentorship. Okay, thank you, Brazil, and thank you for also accepting to be part of this. It's very important. Okay, I'll also be teaching you how to upload, how you can also upload your certificates and maybe written CVs on LinkedIn. That is possible. I'll just show you one of my colleagues here. Is an HR person. How he was able to upload some of the things. You choose what works for you and you choose what you think is much relevant. Performance management, let me just endorse him. Now you can see he's featured. He has been able to put his certificates accordingly. Okay, he has included his certificates right there on his LinkedIn. This is an online, anyone can visit it, just like the way I've visited it here. He has included it there. When it comes to his highlights about the work he's doing, you see the language he has used: initiated and successfully implemented a personal development challenge, increased the usage of company's e-learning platform by 200%, facilitated end training. Now, when you come to the element of your past job experience and so on, we'll be talking about how to position your achievements, okay? Rather than just saying, I've been doing this and this and this. Your achievements, everyone wants an achiever, okay? So please, the chat box, I've not heard from Anthony. Anthony, how has been the session for you? Make sure that you type that before we close. Otherwise, I want to call this to an end, and I want to leave something for tomorrow. But takeaways, make sure you go and work on your LinkedIn profiles. I would love to look at them. Make sure that you also work on your personal profiles. Try to refine them. And I'm going to share a job. Actually, this is the job that we are going to look at. this is a job. Okay, it closed, but definitely in the same way, maybe I'll try to find another job that is still on, and we're going to tailor our personal profiles on that job. Okay, so very important. So thank you so much, and I really want to wish you all the best. If you have a question that you didn't ask on this platform, make sure you ask it in the chat box on our WhatsApp. Okay. So thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. This has been Samuel Evander. I am your coach, and I believe that this will help you going forward within your career. Thank you so much. In case you feel you have somebody whom you think this will be helpful, please recommend them. They will be able to access this, and we can be able to grow together. So thank you so much, and wish you all the best in your journey to career growth. Bye-bye.